He posted on Facebook, "Please bring my family back." But just 48 hours later, he confessed to killing them all. Welcome to this USA Crime Reel Explainer. Today, we're diving into one of the most chilling cases of deception in modern true crime. We so often hear about strangers committing terrible crimes. But what happens when the monster is sleeping in the very next room? We're going to look at a guy who appeared to have absolutely everything: a beautiful family, a steady job, a picture-perfect life, and inexplicably threw it all away. This is the story of Chris Watts, the man who murdered his entire family, and the dark reality that was hiding right in plain sight. Please bring my family back. If you were following this case as it unfolded in real time, you probably saw this desperate plea on his Facebook page. And honestly, you probably felt a deep sense of empathy for this distraught husband and father. But here is the truly terrifying fact. Just 48 hours after putting this public plea out onto the internet for the whole world to see, he was sitting in an interrogation room confessing to killing them all. So how on earth does a man go from pleading for his family's return to admitting he ended their lives? Let's start with Section 1, the perfect family facade. To really understand how this all unraveled, we have to go back to August of 2018 in the quiet town of Frederick, Colorado. Publicly, everything looked flawless. You've got Chris Watts, a 33-year-old oil field worker, his 34-year-old wife Shanann, and their two little girls, Bella and Celeste. They had just shared some amazing news, too. Shanann was 15 weeks pregnant with a boy due in January. If you looked at their Instagram, it was literally nothing but vacations, smiles, and #family goals. But behind closed doors, Chris was hiding a massive secret. In June, he had met a woman named Nicole Kessinger at work and started an affair, totally lying to her by claiming he was already separated from his wife. Texts between them show they were actively planning a future together. Chris was even telling his friends he wanted a new life. Meanwhile, Shanann had absolutely no idea. She was just thrilled to be a mom of 3. Which brings us to the grim reality of Section 2, August 13th, 2018, the murders. Let's walk through the exact timeline of what happened when those two worlds collided that morning. At exactly 2 a.m., Shanann gets home from a business trip. We know this for a fact because a neighbor's security camera caught Chris carrying her suitcases inside for her. That footage, that's the last time anyone would ever see Shanann alive. Sometime between 2 and 5 a.m., the whole facade crumbles. Prosecutors say Chris and Shanann got into a massive fight about the affair and about getting a divorce. And right then, Chris snapped. He strangled his pregnant wife right there in their bedroom. But it gets worse. Between 5 and 5:45 a.m., he went into his daughter's bedroom. Bella and Celeste were sound asleep, and he smothered both of them with a blanket, one by one. By 5:48 a.m., just hours after his wife had walked through the front door, Chris was loading all 3 of their bodies into his work truck. Daddy, no! The autopsy later revealed a completely devastating detail. 4-year-old Bella had actually fought back against her father. Those were her tragic last words. It's a detail that adds just an unimaginable layer of heartbreak to a crime that's already hard to stomach. But what he did next shows a chilling, almost robotic level of calculation. He didn't panic. He didn't call the police. Step 1, he drives 45 minutes out to his oil company worksite. Step 2, he callously dumps Shanann's body in a shallow dirt grave. Step 3, he actually forced the bodies of little Bella and Celeste through the 8-inch hatches of crude oil tanks. And then, step 4, he drove back home, took a shower, and went to work, like absolutely nothing happened. The cold, mechanical nature of that is just, it's really hard to process. Let's look at Section 3, the unraveling lie. Because a secret of this magnitude cannot stay buried for long. That very afternoon, a close friend of Shannon's called 911 because Shanann missed a doctor's appointment and wasn't answering her phone. So police show up at the house. And this is where Chris begins this incredibly bizarre public performance. He stands right in front of the news cameras, acting like the distraught husband. He's saying, "My wife is missing, my girls are missing, please bring them home." He's doing TV interviews, fake crying, crossing his arms, rocking back and forth, and begging the community to find them. But investigators, they saw right through his act almost instantly. While Chris is busy playing the grieving husband on TV, police are quietly pulling data that totally shatters his story. They found 2 damning pieces of hard evidence. First, the GPS data from his work truck proved he had driven directly to that remote oil site early that morning. And second, they recovered deleted text messages on his phone that proved the affair and his active plans for a brand new life with his mistress. The evidence completely blew his public lie out of the water. Which leads us to Section 4,
The confession.
With all this evidence piling up, authorities make their move. On August 15th, just 2 days after the murders, police officially arrest Chris Watts. But he doesn't give it up right away. In this desperate, sickening attempt to save himself, he actually tries to blame Shanann. He tells detectives that she killed the girls, and he only attacked her in a rage after seeing what she had done. But detectives knew better. The real turning point came when they played him video footage. They showed him the undeniable reality that they had found the bodies at his worksite. And that's when the facade finally broke. Faced with absolute undeniable proof, he finally confessed. I killed my wife, then I killed my daughters. Because of these unimaginable actions we've detailed in this explainer, Chris Watts was handed 5 consecutive life sentences, without the possibility of parole. He's going to spend the rest of his natural life behind bars.
Now for our final section, 3 dark lessons. As we wrap up, it's crucial to look at what we actually take away from a tragedy of this scale. There are 3 deeply chilling lessons here. First, the mask. It's a terrifying reminder that the most dangerous people don't look like movie villains. They look completely normal. They're posting smiling vacation photos. Second, the lie. The sheer psychopathy it takes to stand on national television, fake crying, begging for your kids to come home, while knowing you personally put them at the bottom of an oil tank. That level of deception is just beyond comprehension. And third, the aftermath. The lasting trauma here doesn't just stop at the extended family. Bella's haunting last words, "Daddy, no," remain a heavy, heavy burden carried by the investigators who worked this case to this very day. Chris Watts truly had it all. A loving wife, 2 beautiful kids, another one on the way. He threw the whole shebang away for an affair and committed the absolute unthinkable. So I have to ask you, what do you think was actually going through his head that morning? Was it just cold, calculated panic, or something else entirely? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Thank you so much for joining me for this USA Crime Real Story Explainer. For more structured, real crime stories that dive deep into the facts, make sure to hit that subscribe button. Until next time, stay safe and stay curious.